Hey guys, and welcome to Living My CP Life. Today we're going to talk about language surrounding persons with disabilities and in specifically the words cripple. So, that in mind, this following video may be controversial. The camera work is not so great because I was just holding the camera. I just felt that this needed to be said. So take that for what you will. But again, realize this is a personal opinion video, and by all means, I would love to hear your opinions or stories about this. So feel free to drop a comment in the comment section or use any of my social media to get a hold of me. All the links are down below, and with that, let's roll the video. Hey guys! So in honor of International Day of Persons with Disabilities, which was actually December 3rd, I am going to talk to you about something that I haven't addressed yet on my channel, I don't think. And if I have, for anybody who's new, I will address it again. But I'm surprised I actually haven't, and that is the language that we use to refer to persons with disabilities. For the most part, I feel like, now, personal opinion, okay guys, so don't crucify me. I feel like, for the most part, I am treated well in society, and people who may... One second, guys. This is what happens when I don't have my tripod out. I'm too lazy to get it. Okay, for the most part, I feel like people with disabilities and the language that is used surrounding that is really no longer an issue. I mean, obviously there's going to be some teasing when you're in the younger grades, and I was a part of that. I know what that feels like. I could tell you many, many stories, and I will if you'd like me to. But I also feel like once you get past that awkward middle school, high school period, things become a lot easier, and it's not such a big deal anymore. Again, that is just my personal experience. Now, saying that, I am going to touch on something that may or may not be confusing to other people, but if you do have a disability and you've watched me for a while, feel free to weigh in with this topic, because I like to hear other people's opinions. The word cripple. I personally feel like, for myself, I am rebranding, reworking this word to be, at least in my life, not a negative term. That said, for me personally, I feel like only certain people can use that word when referring to me. When I'm referring to myself, if I call myself a cripple, I feel like that's fine, because it's me speaking about myself. So if here was a scenario where I'm in the mall and I'm walking slower than some of my friends, I might yell, "Wait for the cripple," and I feel like that is completely fine for me to do as I am referring to myself. It is not being said to me. And yes, it may be shocking, but it also, you know, kind of reminds them to turn around and, you know, maybe wait up a second. Now, some of my friends, not all of my friends, can say, oh, like, you cripple, what are you doing? In a really funny way. And that's completely fine for them to do. And I'm not going to name those people because I'm not going to call anybody out. But I feel like certain people, it's okay. If other people, even other family members, use that term, I will leave the room. I will cause a fuss. I will rant at them because I feel like my disability shouldn't be everything that I am known for. So it's a really awkward, like, balancing act, and I think it's going to really depend. There we go. And now I finally get the angle right. Really depend on the person and what they feel comfortable with. So by no means in making this video am I saying that people should go around and call everybody, you know, who they meet who may have any kind of disability, whether it's a mobility disability or an intellectual disability or a hearing disability, anything, a cripple. No, I'm just saying that in some circles, at some points in time, it may be a necessary term, like if you're using it in a paper, or like some people might use it to make a point, but I don't feel like it's a term that can be or should be taken lightly. I have heard people snickering behind my back before, and just like anybody else, I hate it when that happens. That said, I don't normally notice staring anymore, just because, at least in my experience and with my disability, I just realized my shoulder's been weird, and is still weird, but okay. I have always had to deal with some kind of staring and some kind of talk, which is fine, and I've just kind of grown up with that, which may be sad to some people, but for me it's normal and I don't really notice it. That said too, though, when I do notice it, it's usually like big things. I really feel that the word cripple and all of its connotations, the history behind it, is no longer necessary unless you are reclaiming language and using it in a way to empower yourself or a group of people, because I feel like we have gone past that. But in going past something, I think it still needs to be acknowledged. So, I mean, one analogy I can think of, which is probably not even the same or relevant at all, is like, kind of like, I'm gonna get hate for this, but the N-word. In the Black community, they can use that word referring to themselves or other things, and it's fine, whereas in other social dynamics or other social situations, it's not. I think the words cripple and disabled have a place too. Like, I will call myself disabled because I I am. I'm not able to do some things. I will call myself a disabled person because I am. It's what you see first about me. I also use the words person with a disability in all my other endeavors and in my professional life. But I feel that when I'm in my personal life and, even talking to you guys, I can use the word disabled and people understand what I mean. If I used the word person with a disability, people would understand what I meant. If I used the word cripple, people would also know what I meant. But there's all those different ways of interpreting all those different words, and all of the history that goes on behind behind that I feel also needs to be honored and looked at before we use certain words. And if we decide to repurpose, reclaim, as it were, a word, then I feel that people should be able to do that without any kind of, I'm going to use the word persecution, but any kind of backlash. So I think I'm actually going to do a blog post on this in a few days, just because I feel like this was so muddled and I probably didn't say this properly or put this together well, but no matter what, we'll get this up for you, and hopefully if you did get something from this, please feel free to comment down below with your questions, comments, or experiences. Let's try and keep this fairly positive. I don't want to see people attacking other people. Let's realize that everybody has their own opinions, and again, this is just one opinion from one side, from one person, from one girl in one part of the world. So let's just be respectful of everybody's opinions, and I hope to see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.